Hey crafters, Leo with Dreaming Tree, and welcome to the assembly video for our jointed Dracula. You can see behind me there, Frank's hanging out with us, and it is my favorite time of the year. It's, well, we got about a week until fall starts officially, and with that comes Halloween. So we figured it's time to bring Dracula to life. We're gonna start off kind of working our way bottom to top. We'll start off with his legs. These little ham bones here. There's 2 layers. We found this really cool pinstripe pattern for his suit. This layer is going to go underneath it, and we're simply going to just glue one on top of the other to just kind of make it more sturdy. This paper is, this pattern paper is, well, it's probably close to 80 pounds, but not quite. And I thought that it would be a good idea just to make them nice and sturdy so that you can tuck them away after the holiday's over, bring them back out for the next season, which I'm sure many of you will. I've actually seen quite a few of our older ones being posted in the group on Facebook. Okay, so there's one. We'll do the same thing with the other one. And this is a really fun little project. You can probably get your kids involved with this one since there are some larger pieces that they can glue together. And the cool thing about Halloween is that, well, everything doesn't need to be totally perfect. It's kind of I don't want to say messy, but you know what I'm saying. Distressed, sort of. Distress is in when it comes to Halloween. Okay, so we've got the little ham bones in place here. And let's move this out of the way. And then we've got his legs. Okay, so we have 3 layers for his legs. And we'll start, there's like a gray layer to create this little section of the shoe. So we'll glue the black on top of the gray. And if you want, as you go, it may be a good idea to take these large pieces and just place them underneath your cutting mat so that they dry nice and flat. Okay, doesn't hurt. So I'm going to do that real quick here. Just pop all those under my mat as I go. And with these here, obviously, we have little holes that you're going to put your brads in so that we can make them jointed. And that's really going to be the main thing you're going to focus on when getting things aligned. On this pinstripe suit, I did take and ink the edges with some black. I always think that inking adds a lot to any paper project by adding additional dimension to the cardstock. Okay, so this leg is just about done. If you have a brayer, that might actually be helpful to help kind of fuse everything together more quickly. So I'll pop that underneath, and we'll do the next one. And like I said, this is going to go rather quick. Should be a pretty quick project. And even the cutting's not too bad. Hopefully you can find a nice pinstripe color somewhere. Or a pinstripe pattern, I should say. But, I mean, anything goes, really. Again, it's Halloween. There's some rules, but you can break them and things will still look cool. I've seen many jointed figures over the years where there's been some pretty wacky, I guess you could say, papers used, and honestly, sometimes it turns out cooler than something that is like really strategically pre-planned. So don't be afraid to experiment. Okay, so there's his other leg. I'll pop that underneath the mats, and let's grab these smaller little ham bones, and let's do his arms and his hands. Okay, and I took and painted some of the brads that I had handy. Just painted them black, no big deal. Okay, so these 2 layers are going to go on top of each other. Obviously, you just want to match them up so that they fit correctly. And it's kind of hard to see the glue on the back of this paper with this black and white texture pattern. but shouldn't be too bad. Just make sure you get it aligned as accurately as you can. Just like that. Pop that underneath my mats. Do the next one. And now we have we started with a skeleton. Then we did we have a jolly pumpkin. We have a witch. We did Dracula last year. And now we have, I'm sorry, we did Frankenstein last year, not Dracula. And now we have Dracula. Okay, so the hand is going to be made up of these 4 layers. Obviously, we're going to put the pinstripe pattern on top of the red, just as we've been doing. And then we'll do the skin tone and his little cuff on top of that. The face is relatively simple to assemble as well, so it's going to go together nicely. Nice and easy project. And the kids will love it. Great little piece to put on your door or to gift someone, especially if you live in like an apartment complex, maybe even a condo. I guess it depends on how well your front door is sheltered. Obviously, you can definitely hang it up anywhere inside. And one thing I did not do is ink the skin tone, since this is a masculine piece. I didn't want it to seem as if Drax got any sort of makeup on, although you could. I don't think it's a huge deal, but there's his little arm. That looks awesome. I love he's looking pretty dapper, I guess you could say. All right, next arm and hand. Make sure you get that glue out to the tips of his fingers so they don't come peeling up and away from the base layer. And the face, again, very simple to assemble. We tried to make it as few pieces as possible while maintaining that classic look. There's so many directions we could have gone with the personality and the style of good old Drac here. And, well, because I tend to collect vintage Halloween stuff, I don't mind the cutesy stuff, but I don't know, I'm kind of a classic kind of guy. And I think many of you are as well. There's something nostalgic about days of past, and I like to kind of preserve that a little bit. So Drac here is very classic looking, I think. All right, let's get the little cuff in place. Just line that up. The little holes here, perfect for little rhinestone. Probably I'd go maybe a black, purple, or a red. And there's a few little areas on his vest that you can do the same thing to as well. All right, let's take a look at his face real quick. The face is going to be zotted, and we're going to begin. It's mostly just these 2 pieces, and then some, well, actually just his eyes and his mouth. So it's very simple. So we're going to take this. This is your skin tone color, and we're going to glue this onto the black shadow layer. You see that your machine is doing most of the work here, most of the heavy lifting. Very simple. And just line that up as accurately as you can. One thing I would suggest is when cutting pieces like this, especially if you have a Cricut, use the intricate cardstock setting so it goes over it twice. You get a cleaner cut that way. Okay. All right, so let me show you how the eyes go together before we actually do it. Okay, so we're going to go white, purple, green, then black. And we're going to repeat that process on both sides to create the eye feature. Okay, so let's do that real quick, and then we'll put them in place. We do have a series of little markers on that skin tone color to help you with the alignment of each of the eyes. And then we just have a simple little mouth, which is just 2 pieces. How lovely and efficient. Okay, so there's the green, there's the purple. Let's put the green on. And then we'll do the red. The black. I'm thinking about the mouth. Okay, just line that up as accurately as you can. There we go. And our black. And then we'll repeat that process one more time to do the other eye. I did try to ink as much as possible here. I hit the eyes, the purples and the greens with a little bit of ink. I typically don't ink anything black with more black. Occasionally, especially for Halloween, I will maybe take a little bit of white and ink black with whites. But in this case, this piece is so small that I don't really think it needed it. I'm not exactly sure what it would add to the overall aesthetic, so I just left it alone. Left the black alone, that is. Again, I did hit the green and the purple with a little bit of ink. I inked his entire suit as well as his vest, but that's pretty much it as far as the inking goes on our Dracula here. I didn't do anything else with that. And let's get the black layer in place. Last little piece, just a few little dots. It's so tiny that it doesn't need a lot to stay in place. There we go. Okay, so as you can see here, we do have a series of markers. There's a little point here pointing to the left, and there's a point pointing to the right. The point pointing to the left, you want to match that up with the left tip of the eyeball. And then the arrow pointing to the right is going to go right in this little nook here where the eye meets the eyebrow. Okay. Pretty straightforward. We wanted to put those in there because obviously we want to make sure that good old Drac looks nice and symmetrical. That looks awesome. Beautifully done by our engineer, Diana. She's knocking it out of the park. There's Drac's face. Awesome. Look at that. I love that. Okay. All right, so then we have the mouth. Obviously, make sure that your texture side is up. The mouth is a symmetrical piece. So we'll just put a few little tiny dots of glue on the back. And it's going to go right on top of the white layer so that just the little fangs are exposed. Try to get that lined up as accurately as you can, obviously. And it's just a smarter way to do it so that we're not trying to sit there and piece 2 tiny little fangs on his face. Okay, and that is going to go in here like a little puzzle, like so. And there we go. Okay, so again, Drac's face is going to be foam squared onto the actual body here. All right, so here's the main part of our Dracula here. He's kind of built in 2 sections. We can do the cape last. Let's put the body together first. Before we do that, you can take this piece here, and we're gonna take this long piece and glue this piece on top of the longer piece. This is it's a brighter, actually a darker red on top of a brighter red. Okay, and I'm just going to match this up at the bottom. Get that lined as accurately as you can. Nice little 2-tone look. And this is like a shimmer paper. It's definitely some kind of a specialty paper. We'll have all the details in the supply list, obviously. Hopefully this is something that our friends over at 12 by 12 Cardstock carry so that you can order your very own, okay? And then this one is gonna go right here. And that's just to kind of give it a nice two-toned look. Make sure it's lined up as accurately as possible. Obviously. Press that down, okay? Then we'll head over here, and the layering for this works like this. Okay, so we'll start with the skin tone, and we'll take this full sheet here for the pinstripe pattern. We've got a lot of real estate to cover here, and of course my glue bottle decides that it wants to take a nap. Let's give this another shot. Now it's flowing. There we go. Just work your way around the perimeter. I guess what I could have done here is, well, not really. I was gonna say, I could have put the glue on the skin tone color, but there's a little tiny cutout, and I didn't wanna get glue in that exposed area because you'll be able to see it. Okay, so let's match this up as accurately as we can. And I'm doing this so that I can thicken this project up a little bit, make it more sturdy. Okay, next, I'm gonna put this layer down like so. This one's a little more wobbly, so just be careful. And don't forget to get a little bit of glue around that ring up at the top where you're gonna be able to hang your Dracula. And I'm gonna put this down on my surface here to make it a little bit easier to work since it's a little flimsy down there. Sometimes with this thinner paper, I get a little concerned that if I overdo it with the glue, I'm gonna just put the head in place first and make sure that that's lined up, and then just drop the rest of it into place. You can see how that inking really creates separation between these layers here, and just again gives it some nice dimension, which never hurts, especially when you're working flat in 2D. All right, next this layer is going to go down, and this is mostly just for his collar to give that a little color. Now this paper, I'm absolutely 100% concerned about the glue showing through, so I'm going to work quickly. And I'm going to definitely use my brayer to flatten this glue out ASAP so that it doesn't show through the actual paper. Let's get the head lined up first, the neck, the ears, and again, the rest of it should just fall into place. Let's grab that brayer ASAP and flatten that glue out. And yes, I can tell that it is in fact going to show through a little bit. Okay, now I can take and glue his vest into place. Oops. Okay, we have one more layer for the vest. So go ahead and flip this around, apply your glue. There's a white layer so that behind the vest you can see his nice little dress shirt. So we're going to line that up like so. Make sure the bottom is properly aligned. The rest of it should just naturally fall into place then. Okay, and then this is going to get, you can see this little shape right here. You just want to match that up here like so. Just like that. So we can take this entire piece, flip her over, and put that right into place, looking sharp. Okay. All right, one thing that we can do real quick here, we can take this large piece and with the largest dowel you have, give these little tails a little bit of a curve. You can do it in the center too, just a tad. It'll probably flatten out in the center, but that's okay. Just give it a little bit of a curve. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take, and you can see on this piece, well, let's curve out the collar a little bit. Okay, and you can see on this piece, you have a series of score marks. You're just gonna need to line that up like so, okay? So what you can do here, we'll put glue below this little area, and then also up here, we'll throw a little line of glue right at the tip, or the edge, I should say, like so. And then I'm gonna take and just get that aligned. Okay, so we have the main cape together. Now this one, just got some glue on myself there. This one's gonna get glued right here, okay? And what you can do if you want, I might just do this to add a little extra dimension to the project. Well, first off, I'm not gonna glue the whole thing down, and we can take and kind of train this part of the cape out a little bit, okay? And I'm gonna say, put glue up to, well, definitely up here, and maybe about halfway down. And then if you want, you can throw a few little foam squares right towards the base of our cape here, just to kind of create some separation between the two layers. Again, adding a little bit of depth to the project. Okay, and I think that's probably more than plenty. And let's line this up here and here. I'll pick this up like so, using my fingers to kind of feel, make sure everything's nice and flush. Okay, there's where my foam squares are. And you can see that little bit of separation that it creates down at the bottom. I definitely inked this with a nice purple, okay? And at this point, you can put this off to the side for a second. Let's grab our face and our head. And let's, using some foam squares, get that in place. And then we can actually start putting together the jointed portion of our Dracula. That looks nice. There we go. Okay, let's lift up our mat, get all the stuff out of here, and let's take a look here. Okay, so you can see the shape here. Okay, it's going to be a little bit wider out to the side for his little thighs. Okay, and what we're going to do is, for this one here, this is going to go behind. So pop your little brad through, get this one in there, and separate the little things back there. There's one. Okay, this one's going to go on top like so. And let's pop the brad through, get the other one through, get those separated, or spread apart, I should say. Okay, there we go. And same thing here. Oh, that's going to go under. My bad. And again, don't forget right here to add some bling. I'm sure you've got plenty of bling hanging around somewhere. Okay, let's grab his other leg. This one's going to go on top. I always thought Dracula was a rather tall guy. There we go. Okay, and again, it's going to go on like this. You can see how it kind of comes out a little bit more on the side. Okay, this is going to go under. So put your brad through, then put the arm part in. Same thing on this side. There we go. And then, obviously, you're going to do the hands and the arms, the lower part of the arm. Pop that through, spread it apart. Okay. And the last one. We also have a little tie, a little bow tie that we need to put together. Very simple. You guys have done it a million times. So there's Drac. Okay. And now, you just need to glue him onto. Actually, I'm gonna use foam squares. So what we can do is we can flip this over and do one just right around the neck, and then you can kind of spread these out around the remaining part of the perimeter. Obviously, you don't want to obstruct the ability for his limbs to move around, so don't put any foam squares too close to his limbs. There we go. And then the top part of the collar, or the top part of the cape, is going to be slightly visible. Okay, so let's just move this out of the way for a second. I'll show you exactly. I'm going to stand up so I can kind of get an eagle eye view of what I'm doing here, so I don't mess this up. Okay, so you can, pardon my head there. I'll try not to get it in the way. Make sure that his body is nice and centered, and it's going to go right about there, right there. Press them into place. Beautiful. Look at you. You're cute in a cool way. All right, so there's our Dracula, and then let's just put his little bow tie together. We did it with a glitter. Okay, so grab yourself a little dowel, and what we're going to do is kind of hold it in the center here, place the dowel at the base of one of the loops, and just run the dowel through, lift up the loop about 90 degrees, and run it through. Okay, and then what we're going to do, you can see that there's like a little rectangular tab on the end of each of the loops. I'm going to put some glue on each of those and connect it with the little rectangular section in the center to create the loop. Okay, we'll do the same thing on the other side. Now, I am gluing this super smooth surface now onto glitter. If you're doing the same thing, you may want to consider using hot glue. And I am just going to get this fired up just in case I need it, which I'm guessing it probably, yeah, I can already tell that I'm going to need it, because look, I've been holding it for at least 30 seconds. This part stuck, but this part going on top of the glitter, not a chance. So definitely going to use some hot glue to finish this one off. If you're using cardstock, you don't need to worry about it. Okay, but look at Drac. He is awesome. He looks great. So we're going to finish this off with our little bow. Just waiting for my hot glue to get hot. There we go. Okay, so I'll put a little touch there in the center. Bring the other loop in. Get those two sides connected. So now I have the bow. And then this final little piece here is just going to go over the center. Just center it and then fold it over. There's no folds. You just fold it manually. Okay, and then what we'll do is glue it to itself from behind. Just throw a little hot glue on there, or regular glue, whatever you're using, and close it up. My fingers are on fire now, thanks to the courtesy of hot glue. My favorite type of glue. That's sarcasm. And there we go. Okay, so there's his little bow tie. And that's going to go right above, right here. Can kind of flare these out a little bit. So there is Drac all done, looking awesome. You can see over here, over there, his buddy Frank, and I'm digging it. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please visit us on our YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button while you're there. Hit the little bell so you get notifications anytime we release a new project, whether it be paid or free. And if you make this or anything from our new Halloween bundle, I'd love to see it, and so would the rest of our community. So head over to your Facebook, do a search for Dreaming Tree Official. That's where you'll find myself and almost 47,000 other crafters that inspire us daily. So happy hauntings, and as always, I look forward to crafting with you again.
Hey, thanks for crafting along with me. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, check out some of our other videos, and please consider hitting that subscribe button. Also, don't forget to visit our site and check out our free SVG section, where you'll find over 140 free SVG files complete with assembly tutorials. I'll see you in the craft room.